Hey guys, it's Vampire Mike from Sega CD Universe, and I just wanted to do an unboxing and a quick showing of the LevelHike Dreamcast HDMI converter. This came from China. I ordered it on Amazon. In all transparency, I had contacted LevelHike on Twitter. I asked them if they were sending out any review copies for anything. They said if I went and purchased on Amazon the Dreamcast and the Genesis one, which was in my other video, that they would refund me for a review. So they're not paying me for the review. I'm still going to give my honest opinion, but I did want to be fully transparent and say that I did get these for free. They sent them to me as like review copies, so to speak. So let's crack open this bad boy. The other thing I wanted to say was I do not have a capture card. So I will be taking pictures of the screen. I'll post them in the description. I'll put them in the video, maybe some clips of me filming the screen a little close up. So if that's too old-fashioned for you, then I apologize, but this may not be the video for you. So, LevelHike, here we go. So in the box we get, very similar to the Genesis version, a warranty card. I think this one is missing the little card that the Genesis version had that said if you'd like to extend your warranty, you can email them and they'll extend it further for free. But it's a 1-year warranty with the same little note here about if you have any problems to contact them. So there's that, and then the Dreamcast HDMI converter in a little Ziploc bag here. So it comes with a standard HDMI cable, just like the Genesis version, and a HDMI converter with a mini or micro, I always forget the difference, I think it's mini, USB port that you can use to power this if there's not enough power running to it, which I think is usually the case. So I'll probably have to use the one they sent me with the Genesis version because this one didn't come with the USB cable. It feels fairly light, you know, I mean, most people get their stuff outsourced and created in China. This is a Chinese product, so it's not going to be, you know, very expensive, very high quality. It's a $30 or $25 product, so you're kind of getting what you're paying for. Like I said, fairly light, normal connection here. So let's plug this in. I'm going to compare it briefly to the Dreamcast VGA, and if I can find my composite cable as well. Okay guys, so here is the Dreamcast getting filmed by my camera with composite video. It looks okay, you know, it's the worst of what I have in front of me in terms of VGA and an HDMI converter from LevelHike. It's a little muddy, you know, there's little things that you can see are a little blurrier and not so crisp, but it looks okay. I mean, it's passable. Definitely looks a little darker, I think. And as I said, I apologize for not having a capture card. I've, you know, never really been into them. I didn't purchase one. I didn't really expect to do stuff like this on YouTube. So, yeah, she is much blurrier than she is on the VGA. All right, so let's start this off. The main menu, well, that's blurry because it's not auto-focusing, but the main menu is also blurrier and washed out. Obviously this is 4x3 because it is, you know, using the composite cables. Checking out Soul Calibur on the Dreamcast. Yeah, now there's a big difference. I can really tell now. The words are really blurry on composite. It's very dark. And all the little details on the characters are pretty much lost. I mean, it's just sort of a blurry mess in a way. So, composite is not the way to go if you have a Dreamcast and you can get VGA or something of that nature to run for you. I know a lot of TVs now don't have VGA on them, so having something like a LevelHike HDMI cable would probably be a good idea. Alright, so we showed a little bit of composite. Let's check out the VGA, and then I'll move on to the LevelHike HDMI. Okay guys, so this is Soul Calibur on the Dreamcast, filming on my screen in 4:3. Let's switch that up to 16:9, even though I know people hate that. At least it fills the screen up for the camera. And this is with my Kaboo's VGA cable. Kaboo was a gentleman who created cables in France years ago, and I contacted him and purchased one off of him. So as you can see with the VGA cable, it looks pretty good. This is normally what I use. Let's pick this guy because he's fairly big, so at least you could show off some of his, model. Pretty good, pretty bright. I do notice with the VGA cables sometimes there's a little bit of like distortion, jail bar thing going on. That is been there since day one. I've tried different modes on the TV to kind of make it a little better, and sometimes it improves it. I noticed putting it on 4:3 obviously improves it more than it being on 16:9, but that's, I think, just because it's stretching out the picture. But overall, I always use the VGA cables. I'm impressed with them. And let's now take a look at the LevelHike, VGA. I guess it's a VGA to HDMI converter. Necessarily, it takes the port on the Dreamcast and converts it to HDMI. So let's take a look at that. Okay guys, now we are looking at the LevelHike HDMI cable for the Dreamcast. As I said, I'm pretty sure it just takes the Dreamcast native signal and then puts it into from VGA to HDMI inside the little box. This doesn't have a 4:3 or 16:9 switch on it like the Genesis version. So far it looks pretty good, to be honest. It just looks a little darker than the straight VGA run, but it's not bad at all. I think it's much crisper than the composite. I'm going to take some still shots of this where I can and include them down in the description. Yeah, it's definitely a little dimmer. It looks darker than the HDMI. Excuse me, the VGA, I misspoke. I mean, I can obviously boost the brightness a bit with my television, so I can do that. That's the brightest we're getting, boys. Again, it looks pretty good. It's definitely crisper and clearer than the composite. I may prefer the VGA overall. I think the VGA, maybe because it's just kind of a straight, a straight run as opposed to a conversion. I may prefer that overall. I think also, as I said, this is a little darker, which I don't like as much. But for, I think it was $25 to $30 on Amazon. If you don't have a VGA, excuse me, a VGA port on your machine, or plus the VGA cables are probably around the same price or more, this is a pretty good way to go. It's definitely crisper, obviously, and cleaner looking than the composite. The words aren't blurry. Everything looks pretty good. Alright guys, so I'm just going to do a little quick video now and summarize, how I feel about all three and what I think about the LevelHike Dreamcast HDMI cable. Okay guys, so I've checked out by filming my screen and taking a couple screenshots of it what I think of composite versus VGA versus the LevelHike HDMI converter. And I think overall, if You have to use composite. Obviously, you have to use it. If you have an older television or perhaps your TV doesn't have certain things or you can't afford a VGA or a LevelHike cable or, another kind of HDMI converter, you have to live with it, right? The VGA cable I have, which is a straight VGA run, as I said, it's a Kaboo cable. And I'm going to show a couple little screenshots here at the end, or maybe just one. The VGA cable definitely has way more clarity than the composite, but it's brighter. The LevelHike has the same clarity, but it's darker. I tend to like the little more of a brightness to it, so I prefer the VGA cable. But sometimes, and I've noticed this with myself, I like things brighter than they normally should be, and then in turn, it will wash certain things out. So I think the LevelHike cable is pretty substantially close to the VGA cable, just a touch darker. I think for the $30 or whatever it was, $25 to $30 on Amazon, it's not that bad, honestly. If you don't have composite or want to get a little bit of a boost in regards to your graphic fidelity, the LevelHike cable is pretty damn good. As I said, with the Dreamcast version, it didn't come with the USB cable to give it extra power. I'm assuming that may be optional because it worked without it for me. So I was using a 55-inch, like 10-year-old Samsung 1080p set that I have in my basement. I think overall I was pretty pleased with the quality of it, and for you to be able to use your Dreamcast and watch it and play it on a newer television, not using the crappy muddy version of composite, and most likely not having a VGA port any longer, it's a pretty good deal. It is an entry-level $30 item that will put you up to date and give you a little more of a boost graphically. So overall, I like the LevelHike HDMI cable. I think for 30 bucks, it's pretty sweet. So here is a little screenshot coming up, and thanks guys for watching. It's Vampire Mike from Sega CD Universe. Be good.